When I was younger, liberal authority was came in a much more dignified guise than it does today. And by liberal, I mean on the left. I know that there can be, many different, that, I get semantics can be a bitch, and that people want to distinguish between what liberal means and what leftist means, and how being classically liberal is different from what people mean by being liberal today. When I say liberal, I mean the connotations that liberal has today. So that's the word that I'm using. Today, liberal authority takes on this very different, much less dignified guise, and yet they still call themselves authority or authoritative. They want to be seen as authoritative. But when I was younger, liberal authority was buttoned up. It was middle class. It was Ann Landers. It was Walter Cronkite. It was Alan Alda. Jane Fonda, George McGovern. It just struck me that this is a interesting distinction to draw. Today, they come at you with this this screaming, hysterical, blue-haired, emotional, oh my God, white supremacy. They're gonna, protect trans kids. And that's what they lead with, is this violent emotional anger and self-righteousness. And I'm remembering a time. I'm not saying this was any better. I'm just saying it was different. I'm remembering a time when those who were liberal styled themselves as logicians. Well, actually, and I know that there's still Redditors who I guess talk this way, but I'm talking about attractive, successful people who don't. If you look at them, you would call them conservative in the way that they look. Walter Cronkite, to stick with him, because he was such a towering figure. He's actually a little before my time, but he was such a towering figure of really boomer era liberal authority. You take a look at him, you don't know who he is. You would describe him as like conservative looking, suit and tied. Yes, there were the hippies and stuff. That there was all of that, but that didn't seem like when the left wanted to really show itself as the credible, authoritative thing. It would be somebody who looked fairly conservative, in a suit or something, but saying it. Well, actually, most scientists agree that the world did not just come about in 7 days. They would have facts and figures and logic and stuff. This is how they would present their case. And I'm using the evolution. The evolution thing was like that seemed like it was what it all boiled down to. Everything came down to evolution, believing in evolution, and disbelieving in evolution was just silly and ignorant. and they promoted that idea. And I mean, it was disingenuous in many ways, because they said, well, you know, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with religion. If you want to be religious, that's fine. Just don't bring science into your religion. You know, science and religion are different. What they're really saying is, you can have your little realm with your flying spaghetti monster god and everything. You can have all that kookery if it makes you feel better, but science is truth. Science is real. Don't you dare drag science into your fantasy way of looking at the world. And I think it was this hypocrisy, or this hypocrisy is not quite the right word. It was this intellectual dishonesty that was grating about them. But it still is interesting how back then, back in the day, the liberal authority wanted to style itself as something that was respectable, and today, liberal authority is, like I said, a green-haired, you know, screaming, screeching, emotional, angry, you know, how dare you talk about blah, 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 blah. Like, that's shaming. You know, in the past, it was just more sort of conceited and judgmental, and you know, and looking down on its opponents. And now it's like, you know, and that. But the thing is, there's something about that hysteria that's supposed to be authoritative now. We're supposed to see that, and we're supposed to think, oh, this is okay. Well, yeah, I should take my cue from this crazy lady, or this crazy man pretending to be a lady, as the case often may be. It's a real change, and I don't know what it all means, but it's interesting to note.